Shalom everyone. Greetings. I'm going to go through everybody in the chat, say hi to you all, and then I'm going to read from the Book of the Sun, and then I'm going to show you why I've just read from the Book of the Sun. So, Psyops Matter, Dan W, Flat Earth Express, Express, thought it might be Empress. Cosmic Surfer, how you doing? Sent you a message on Skype, check it out. West Coast Wisdom, Leighton Stones, Squirrel Sniper, Ellen Mentor, West Coast Wisdom again. Hi, how you doing? Nicholas, thank you very much. How are you? Angry Beaver Visual Arts, good to see you back. Some spread lies, others know the truth. Who is who? Greetings. Anthony Helm Alchemy, Manuel Aviles, Eric Quadruple One, Martin Connolly, hey, Danny Diesel and TJ Fe Tesla's Apple, greetings. I think that's Doug Terry, Fresh Look at Truth, hey. Okay, so let's go. First I'm going to read just a few words from the Book of the Sun. If you have it at home, you might turn to page 39 and start approximately halfway down. These tubes are what's being described as flux lines and transmit light when they are energized, which, when seen crossed over each other coaxially, radiate more light at the nexus than might be imagined, resulting from the sum total of their luminosity, going by the paucity of their individual radiance outside that nexus. Going to the bottom of the page now, it's page 39. The configuration of these arrays can be seen in video footage of Venus taken at cruising altitude, which shows points of radiance manifesting along the same type of conflated nexus points as those seen delineated in parhelia. So those flux lines don't solely manifest holoprisms from daylight static charge. These are arrays reacting to static charge at night too. but in more subtle forms. And that static charge also rotates over the face of the Earth in a circumlinear fashion, like the day's charge. Turn over. Which is why the stars and planets move. These other arrays of filaments manifest as the moon, planets, stars, nebulas, and all the other celestial lights. The Book of the Sun. Why did I just read that? Well, just bear with me while I juggle windows. Is it here? Let's see. Here it is. The mysterious web that binds the universe. Let's look at how current cosmology, which has just found the filaments I describe in the Book of the Sun, from observation, not from model or from theory, but from observation, let's see them trying to wrap their heads about this fantastic discovery. Let's listen.
Numerous objects are connected by an invisible web that stretches from the Milky Way to the most remote corners of the universe. It's quite surprising that such a cosmic web exists in reality. And in a few seconds, you'll see a real photo of it. What is this web like? Where did it come?
What is this array? What could this array be? Huh? How? Huh?
From? And why is space not so empty and cold as it seems to us? In fact, the cosmic web is older than most.
Now, obviously, they're going to embellish and invent and say, oh, and it's these things that we figured it out just immediately because we've literally just found them. Remember, this video, by the way, December 18, the discovery was made in November. My book was published in March of the same year. So before they discovered these things.
Objects in the universe. After the Big Bang, 40% of the hydrogen,
yeah, right,
very first element that emerged, served as building material for stars and planets, while the remaining 60% of it gathered in endless filaments that connected all the...
Sorry, what? What? In endless what? Filaments?
Galaxies in the universe with each other. Directly at the intersection of the lines themselves, galaxies arise.
Oh, in the intersection? You mean the nexus? The nexus is the meeting point. So, in the nexus of these filaments, the galaxies and the stars. Oh, really?
But this was all in theory. It was assumed that even if such...
Now, he's going to explain that this was all in theory. They imagined that this might be the case. No, they didn't at all. If it was true that it was theory, he would be mentioning who it was that theorized it. But you won't find in all of the articles that were published about this, and there were many, you will not find a single name of any astronomer or astrophysicist who posited this theory. What they're doing now is they're saying, oh, we kind of suspected that this might be the case. That's what they're doing.
Threads exist. There's practically no chance of us being able to see them. After all, the hydrogen web is considered a very thin and weak structure, which is easily overshadowed by the light of nearby galaxies. However, when astronomers from the European Southern Observatory
Listen to this.
in Chile observed a cluster of SSA-22 galaxies in the constellation of Aquarius, which is 12 billion light years from Earth.
Yeah, sure.
An unexpected thing happened. Newborn stars within the cluster emitted intense ultraviolet light, which was absorbed and then emitted by hydrogen filaments.
Oh, so they illuminated the filaments and they took images of them and then they pretended like they already had a theory that posited that idea. Like, you know how gravity is supposed to make spheres? Yeah, it now makes tubes too.
By the reflected glow, the scientists were able to detect and capture two highways of the cosmic web, interconnected by a third stream in a photo.
Oh, will those be 3 junctions, each one? Oh, that's interesting.
The length of the two main strands is more than 3 million light.
The rest is just the usual globe nonsense. But the point is, what I describe in the Book of the Sun... Wait, let me change this. What I describe in the Book of the Sun as being the course of the sun and the moon and the stars is correct. It has now been verified regarding the stars and the galaxies, every single one of which is in a nexus point of filament, just like I explained. We think the stars are above the Earth all the time. The stars are just a holoprismatic phenomenon. They're not physical objects. They're only in your sky in the period when the wavelength presents them. But they're not really there. It's like a rainbow isn't really there. So when the voltage changes and reaches the point where there's the energy that energizes these filaments, we see the stars, and the stars rotate over us. And when that charge moves on, it's got, oh, here comes the blue sky. That's what happens. So that's a prediction made in the Book of the Sun. To predict is to say beforehand. It's not to make a calculation and say, and therefore this. No, that's a mathematical prediction. To predict is to say before. To predict. Dict, saying, and before. So, before saying. So, I predicted these filaments in the Book of the Sun. The book I'm writing now is 1,000 times better than the Book of the Sun. Just thought I'd tell you that. Now, we're going to move on to something else. So that's a prediction. Let's move on to something else. Let's see. Let's close that window. Close it. Oh, this guy. Let's see what he's saying.
Really embarrassing.
Really, really embarrassing. What's really, really embarrassing?
Yeah, that brings us to mag.
Oh, where's Wally's really, really embarrassing? Yeah, we're going to see why now.
Magnetic declination on a globe. This one I love.
Magnetic declination on a globe. Yes, right. Like there's ever been a globe where they can depict magnetic declination. Oh, poor sod. He doesn't realise that the fact that there's magnetic declination on the Earth tells you the Earth is not a ball. If it was a ball, it would be very highly hot in the centre. If it was very, very hot in the centre, there wouldn't be any magnetism for us to have and call geomagnetism. But we do. And he says, well, we do, therefore it's a ball. It's like, no, dumbass, we do, therefore it's not a ball. Well, let's continue.
Oh, now I lined this one up to...
This is brilliant. He's lining his compass up to this fence. He's lined up pretty much with this central bar here. It's just slightly off, okay, but never mind that.
Show where magnetic south is.
Now he changes altogether and sets this up. We're like, oh, okay. And this white panelling is him hiding for safety, his neighbours or his location, whatever. You might think, this is very weird, this white... That's him, you know, he's edited the video, so to hide these things, that's fine.
Anti-north, as that guy likes to call it. I set up the P900 flat earth camera of choice, lined up the centre of the frame to be pointing due south. I also measured the...
He's pointed his camera due magnetic south.
Distance from the pool fence to the camera and got 5800 millimetres. And the fence verticals are 75 millimetres apart. Now, doing a little bit of trick, I was able to work out that each vertical is 0.74 of a degree, which means that 11 degrees is around 15 verticals.
Very good.
I counted that far across to the left and put a marker on the fence.
He placed a marker here on the fence. You can just see it, just there. Very good. This is where magnetic south is, and this is where true south is, which is where the celestial pole should be.
You'll see why in a minute. Now, the P900 creates beautiful time-lapse images that go for 150 minutes.
And time-lapse images where, if you care to sit patiently and draw the circles for any of the stars, you'll see they don't actually go around the same centre. Good Lord. Even with this one, you can see it's diverging here from here. And it happens all over the place. This was found by no fanfare. Yeah, sorry. And obviously the Globies will say, oh, it's barrel distortion. Like, oh, really? Why don't you test to see if that's true?
That creates a nice...
So he's pointing a laser to magnetic south, which is what he's aimed his camera at, which is this post here. Wait, I hope my cursor's showing. Is my cursor showing? Okay, the central post, I don't think my cursor's showing, but the central post, or the post there, closest to the center of the screen, is magnetic south. The other thing he's purchased on the fence is showing where the real central celestial south should be. Let's take a look. 1 second. Poor dumbass. This has got to be the most cack-handed scientist ever, because he does describe himself as a scientist, by the way. Keep your eye on this, on that thing that he's put on the fence, that he's got the laser pointing to at an angle. So over on the left of the fence. Okay. If we draw a vertical line from that point, then the celestial south should be on that vertical line. So let's take a look. Oops. We can see it isn't. I've drawn a vertical line. That blue line is a vertical line from the point that he said this is where. So very good. You can see the celestial pole's not there. So he's probably just got it a bit wrong. It's Wolfie. He's going to get something wrong, isn't he? So from that, he concludes, therefore, it's just like the globe says. Even though he's just shown in his own video that it is not like the globe says, he's off by 2.22 degrees. So either the magnetic declination at his location is different to what he thought, or he just did the math wrong, or it's not quite centered. How would anybody know if it's quite centered? It's looking out from the center of the Earth. How would you know? But anyway, not important. It's just something embarrassing from Where's Wally? Now, let's move on to this. Okay, let's listen to this fella, but bear with me a second. He's going to say something, and then we're going to test whether what he said might be correct or not. So, let's go.
Yeah, now you see the Earth's surface does indeed have a negative charge.
So the Earth's surface does indeed have a negative charge, right? Yes.
That can't be the reason that things are attracted towards the Earth, because if it
That can't be the reason things are attracted towards the Earth, because
was materials with different charges, materials that were better or worse conductors, they'd all fall at different rates.
if it was, then materials that have a variance in conductivity would fall at different rates. You mean like this? So, let's look at objects falling at the Zahn Institute's gravity tower, their drop tower. I'm going to play it in slow motion because it's a very short clip. Watch. Let me just pause it a second so you can see. Lithium over on the left, lead over on the right, carbon in the center. So on the left is lithium, on the right is lead, in the center is carbon. Let's look. Looks like the lithium and the lead are falling at a slower rate than the other objects. Now here comes carbon. definitely those objects are falling. These are falling in free fall. That's free fall. Okay, let me just go back. That is free fall. This is inside a capsule, which is inside a vacuum tower. The capsule is shot up by perfectly engineered German engineering catapult that projects it up the tower. Never mind the tower rotating and the earth on it. Don't be silly. Up the vacuum tower where it reaches that point of equilibrium at the top of the ascent and then starts to descend. What we're watching is the whole thing. The ascent and descent. Sorry, the descent. Okay, in fact, I'll go back to the very beginning where it's reached the top of the arc or the top of the trajectory and then starts to drop in free fall in a vacuum. You're seeing the lithium over on the left is creeping up, which means it's falling slightly slower than the beryllium, boron, aluminium, and so on. Just like this fella said. Hey, well done, you. And now, lastly, I'm going to play this guy, who's well, we're going to see something from this guy. Let's see. What are we going to see from you?
Complete lack of intellectual integrity.
We're going to see complete lack of intellectual integrity. Very good. Let's watch some more.
Let's get started and you'll see what I mean.
Yes.
Number 1. Here's the flat Earth map that you all seem to agree upon.
So, according to, what's he called, Professor Dave, all flat earthers seem to agree on this map. Huh, that's interesting. That wouldn't be like a misleading state. That wouldn't be false, would it? Because no, first, this is the first time I see this map, so I can't have agreed to it if it's the first time I see it. It's much better than the general azimuthal projection. The sizes of the continents have been corrected, so it's much better. North America's a little bit too small compared to South America as it stands, but it is much better. To make this perfect, you'd have to take South America, make it a little bit smaller, and then rotate Quito to its real location, which means, well, obviously rotating the rest of South America. But never mind, according to him and his intellectual dishonesty, this is the map that flat earthers agree upon. Huh, interesting.
Anyone with half a brain can immediately tell that this does not correlate with reality.
Ah, wait. Anyone with half a brain, so it wouldn't be intellectually dishonest to use coercive language like that, would it? Like, if you're not a moron, you'll understand this is not an image of reality. But if you're a moron, you would maybe think that. You know, language like that, Professor Dave.
But for those with an even smaller fraction, let's do a few things to prove it.
Let's prove that this is nothing like, I mean, let's face it, this is not correct, okay? It is more correct than the globe, because on this, there's no missing curvature, you know? But let's see some more examples of why it's not correct.
For example, make a scale.
What? Make a scale?
You know, a scale.
A scale?
It's that thing on maps that tells you how far away things are.
Oh, that thing in maps that tells you how far away things are. Would that be like this? What's that thing at the bottom? Oh, it's a scale. Oh, looks like it was already done. The poor stupid dum-dum Professor Dave. Look, can you see the scale there? That's 5,000 miles. If you get this map and you zoom in, you'll see that the first 1,000 is divided into hundreds, so you can be even more precise. Very good. So you wanted a map with a scale. There it is. It was already there. Don't know why you were addressing the straw man of the, I don't know, the shill flat earthers. That would be like I don't know, that would be like, say, if flat earthers were discussing the globe model by critiquing the Ptolemaic model. There, it's about as honest as that. So let's continue.
From each other. Look at this map.
So, because he's talking about scales, he then says, look at this map. That's what he just said. Look at this map. Great, we're looking at this map.
There's a scale.
There's a scale, yes.
You can pick two cities and determine the approximate distance between them.
Jolly good. You see, because it's got a scale, and I'm holding it here for any of you observant guys to look and note what I noticed. It has a scale. Jolly good. It can show approximate distance between places. Jolly good. If you look a bit more closely, you might notice that California is rather a lot bigger than Alaska. That's also on the map. With the same scale. Oh no! Here's Alaska in blue. Here's California in pink. Which of the two is larger, Professor Dave? Is it the pink, like in this map, where you've got green California, and here you have pink California? Can you see how in this map with a key, your California is rather a lot bigger than Alaska? Can you see how here in this true size website, you see, hey, that's Alaska. It's rather a lot bigger than California. In fact, if you, and by the way, if you want to use this site, it's great. You just grab whatever, you type whatever you want to see here, and you pull it down to the equator. There you go. Now, let's just, let's take a look. What's the size of California? In square miles, it's 163,000. 163,000. 663,000. Wait. 163,000? California? Alaska? 663,000. It looks like Alaska's larger. So let's take a look at your map with a scale. Wow. Well done, Professor Dave. You complete blithering idiot. So now, I'm just, oh, look at all that merchandise. Oh, well, he's trying to make a living. Hey, now we're going to read my comment to him. Because, by the way, what this is it's called 10 Challenges for Flat Earthers. Okay? I'm not going to go through them because I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to join you in the chat and then I'm going to wrap up. Got things to do, including getting back to the book. I reply, ha 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 ha. Brilliant. Number 1. Make a map with a scale. Done and published in the Book of the Sun. Number 2. I forget what it is. Ditto. In fact, wait. We'll see what number 2 is. Number 2. Oh, I think it's talking about the seasons. Yes. Ditto. Then number 3, he says, how about you make a prediction? Like, ha 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 ha. And this is why I started by reading from the Book of the Sun and then showing how astronomers have just found the filaments I describe in the Book of the Sun. Like, through observation, not from model, not from theory, from observation. You see, there's an easy way to determine whether this assertion of mine is correct. The assertion is, they saw the filaments and had no prediction, and are now pretending that they had a prediction. The opposite, if that statement was false, the opposite would be, they had a prediction, but didn't bother looking for it. That's not very likely. So, the truth is, they saw the filaments and now are pretending like they had a prediction about them. So, ha ha ha, how about the prediction that the stars and galaxies appear in junctions of filaments? How's that for a prediction? Number 4, he says, why don't you take a picture over land, not over flat water, but over land, from 1,000 miles away of something? And I say, nah, refraction won't allow. What are you, stupid, and think that there is 1,000 miles of refraction-free land somewhere? Dumbass. Number 5, he wants people to stay on the ship as it disappears. So I say, stay on the ship as it disappears into the distance, sometimes over the curve. Oh, I said he curve. Over the curve, and other times into the blue of the sky. That's been done already. Ignorant. Number 6, explain sunsets, done and published in the Book of the Sun. Number 7, eclipses, ditto. Number 8, close up, take a close, he says, if the sun are close up, say, look, stop critiquing a straw man flat earth model. Okay, stop being an arse. I've just completely bitch slapped you with your own map that you showed with a distance ski, you moron. Number 8, he says, why don't you take a close-up shot of the sun and moon? So I say, close-up shot of sun and moon, again, applies only to the retarded straw man model pushed by F.E. Shills, not reality. In reality, it's not doable. Just like a close-up of a rainbow, it's not doable, dumbass. Number 9, take long-haul flights and note that flights are not constantly turning, while on the globe they are turning on the vertical plane. He says, you would notice that, you know, if you were taking a flight from Santiago to Sydney, say, and it was doing a cartoon circle, a cartoon curve, you'd notice that. He says, yeah, you would notice that. That's very dumb. So number 10, he says, show something that has been invented with a flat earth theory. I said, first, you show anything that has been invented based solely on the globe earth model. Otherwise, legit flat earthers or pondlings will point out it's an invention based on reality and not on the globe model, with copious amounts of globe disproves along the way. As for the other things listed in his number 10 point, done already, including the simple empirical, he's saying, why don't you do some real science, like empirical science, like done, including the simple empirical observation that the sun's light diverges, which anyone with eyes to see can verify, and this is shown on my channel. So, Professor Dave, you complete and utter dumbass, how about you show a map, where you're trying to debunk maps, with Alaska its correct size, you moron. What a complete twit. I mean, really, what a complete dumbass this guy is. It's almost as much of a dumbass as Simon Dan showing the globe earth illuminate. There was a time when Simon Dan was trying to make a point that you can illuminate the globe earth. Wait, where am I? Here. That you can illuminate the globe. Hey, you can illuminate the globe earth according to what time and date says. It's illumination that reaches the Horn of Antarctica and all of the way across the north, like in the June solstice, all the way across the Arctic Circle. So he shows it, and he pans up, he shows his illuminated globe. Look, light reaching the Horn of Antarctica, and he pans up, and you can see it's cutting, it's not the June solstice. So, Professor Dave just joins the ranks of complete blithering imbeciles. So now in the chat, how are you doing, guys? Pompeii is fake. Danny Diesel, yes it is. Pompeii is fake, and a lot of the paintings in the Vatican are shit. They really are. By the way, I have, and I'm not going to show it now because I didn't want this to be a very long one. In the Vatican, they have a whole series of globes. They're encased in glass boxes, so you can't roll them or look at them, okay, very well. But you can see them. Lots of reflection, of course, because it's glass box. But you can see them, including globes where the Northwest Passage has not been found yet, but they have Australia. They have these globes that are kind of showing a progression of the learning about the Earth and locations of things according to globeness. And they all have South America very close to Africa. In the real world, it's not quite so close. And they have the apparition of lands that is anachronistic with how things happened in the real world, which means they have Australia but not Alaska. Okay, when I say they've not plotted the routes for the Northwest Passage, yeah, no Alaska. Yeah, so you might think that's curious. It's almost like they didn't really know what was... The guys who commissioned them just said, commission me a series of... do me a series of globes showing different discoveries as they happened. And the guys who made the globes just looked at different maps and said, I'm going to make a globe of this one. Here you are. And I'm going to make a globe of this one. Here you are. And those guys didn't actually start to go, wait a second, this one doesn't make sense. The heck is this? You've got New Zealand and Australia here, but you haven't got Alaska or Eastern Russia. That's not real. The heck? You've got some of Africa here, but all of Alaska and Eastern Russia here. What's this globe? You've only got part of Africa in this globe, but you haven't got the entirety of the North? What are you doing? Yeah, so that happens, folks, in the Vatican, right there for the world to see, with their paedophile god who's rolling around amongst naked children with his arm around a pubescent girl. That's right. Go and see it yourselves. You can see it because it's Michelangelo's famous Sistine Chapel painting. So, all the Christian flat earthers out there, tell them they worship a paedophile god. Just tell them that. Keep pointing out to them. You worship a paedophile god. That's why the strongest, most powerful Christian church protects paedophiles. Now, just imagine for a second that it turned out that everything was and always had been immortal. Just imagine that. That you are. You're immortal. You're part of this place and you're immortal. You'll die, but it doesn't mean you'll end. You just like when you disappear from a dream, you don't die. You wake up in the real world. When you appear in a dream, your real world body hasn't gone. Still there. Okay? You just change face into the next face. You're immortal, literally immortal. And along comes a charlatan and says, if you follow me, I'll make you immortal. That's Christianity. It's a crock of shit. And so is Islam and Judaism. Complete crocks of shit, all of them. And with that, I'm going to bid you all good night. Thank you all for watching. I'm going back to the writing. I hope you enjoyed this. Pass this on to Moron flat earthers and Moron globelings. And enjoy your time. And with that, I'm going to bid you all good night. Good night.